Alright, guys, welcome back. Allow me a minute. Good morning. Good morning. Wishes to all. So we have started RESTful services and we are moving ahead towards the right direction. And yesterday we have seen how to register by develop such a REST API which can receive the JSON data, process it, and store in the database, fetch the data, and again convert that to JSON format and give it to the clients. All of that we have seen. Also, we have seen how behind the scene Jackson API is working, and we have seen different cases on this. Today, I would like to show first the remaining operations, where is update operation is not yet done, and delete operation we have to do. Followed by this, we will see what is the architecture currently we are following and how to handle the exception globally, which is global exception handling. Global exception handling, we need to understand about this particular concept. Fine, every one of you? Yes. Great. Global exception handling, followed by the remaining concept. When it comes to updating the data, see, we have different HTTP methods. If you want to retrieve the data, it is get method, for which we have a get mapping annotation. For adding a data, inserting a data, new record, we have post method, for which we have post mapping. For delete, we have delete mapping. For update, we have two things. Number one, we have put method. For to handle the put request, we have put mapping annotation. And then we have one more, which is patch. Patch mapping annotation. Both can be used for the updates. Put and patch mapping, what is the difference? Whenever you want to update majority portion of a record, then go with the put mapping. Whenever you want to update a minimal information, one or two information you want to update, then go with the patch mapping. Patch, most of the things will remain same, small part of the things will be updated. Put mapping, whenever you want to update the majority part of your records which are there in the database, then you have to bind your HTTP. You have to bind your controller methods with HTTP put method. If not, you have to go with the patch method. Both the cases I would like to demonstrate in the same application which we had developed in the last class. Just to reiterate, you can see, guys, we have binded our API to post request to the get request. Again, this also to the get request, right? And we are writing the try and catch here itself, which I have told not recommended. I'll talk on this. I'll go back here and further I have to add. These three operations is what we have performed. I would like to perform few more operations here. I will say string type of is a return type, just to give a message it is updated or not. I'll say here update the tourist information, and wherein I would like to accept tourist type of data. I'm accepting tourist type of data, that is majority of the portion I'm going to update. Majority of the portion I'm going to update. I would like to go back here and implement this particular method. How do I update? I want to update the current information which is there in the record. How will I know? Whatever tourist update object has been passed here, with that there is some record or not? How will I know? So from this tourist object, can I fetch the ID, my dear friends? Can I say here repository dot find? Please see very carefully here. Find by ID. I need to pass here integer type of ID, but I have a tourist object here. Can't I use just tourist dot get ID? I'll say tourist dot get ID. It will give you integer type of ID which I'm going to pass here, and I would like to just store that back, whatever it will give me in the form of optional. And now I will check whatever tourist object has been passed here for the update, that record is there in the database or not. If it is there, I will check here. If in case optional dot is present, if it is present, then I'll go for the updation of the data. I would like to collect this optional dot get. This get method present inside the optional class will give you a tourist object. That tourist object I would like to collect here. Let me invoke this method, and I would like to just collect this here, the tourist object. Let me just go back here, create a local of this. We do have a tourist object right now. Are you all there? Now, if you want, by using some of the setters, getters of this, you can do the settings manually. But if you want to write the optimized code, I'll go back here and I will say repository.save. Now, guys, to update the data, we don't have a separate method unless you have to go with the custom query options, which we have seen in the earlier classes. Right now, I'll go with the save method. Save method will add new record if and only if whatever record you're trying to add is not present in the table of your database. By chance, whatever record you're trying to add into the database, if that record is already present in the database, then it will not record or it will not insert a new record. Rather, it will update the existing current record. Are you getting it? Yes, no, maybe. Directly, I would like to, I'm saving, guys, only if it is present. Whatever my end user is passing, based on that information, I will fetch the ID and I will check if it is present. If it is present, I'm going for the update. Are you there? Yes, no, maybe. After which I will just return here, return one English message I would like to give here. I will say here, tourist information is updated successfully. Yep. Else, if it is not there, I would like to say here, else. Please see very carefully, guys, every one of you. I'll say here, throw new tourist not found exception, and I would like to just write here tourist with given information not found for updation. I would like to add this. Add throws again and again it is asking. I'll go back here. See, exception is a parent of both checked and unchecked exception. If you write exception, then your exception, whatever custom exception you're creating row, it will become a checked exception. I will make it unchecked exception by extending runtime exception. Is that fine, everyone? Yeah. Now writing this will not become mandatory. Done. I would like to save this. Go back to my controller now to write this. Where is my controller class? I would like to go back to my controllers APIs. And here I will write one more API. This time, am I updating minimal information or majority information, guys? Minimal or majority information, what am I updating right now? Majority of the information. All of you? So in that case, I would like to go here and accept a tourist type of data. And I should write one annotation here. Could you please tell me the annotation name I have to write here? What is the annotation name, dear friends? Request body. And at the top of this, it should be binded to what type of HTTP method, guys? Which annotation? Put or patch right now based on the information which I have given. Put mapping. And I would like to just say here, update tourist is the endpoint which I have created. Done. Now, of course, I may have to go back here, and I would like to say here, uh, I would like to go back. 1 second, guys. The screen got green in front of me. Some issues. Allow me a minute of time. हेलो। हल भाई, मेरा लैपटॉप हैंग हो गया है। मैं भी रुक गया हूँ। एक बार आप ज्वाइन कर लो सेशन, मेरी वो कर दूंगा रिस्टार्ट। अच्छा ठीक है, आ गया लैपटॉप, छोड़ो छोड़ो, आ गया अब। गाइस, am I audible now? There was some system issues. Okay. All of a sudden, my system is continuously being used, and I could not able to see myself also. I had lost the entire control of the system. Allow me a minute of time while I connect this. So again, it is hanged. I cannot get this control, guys. Allow me a minute of time again. Allow me a minute, guys. Apology. Sometimes technical issues. I cannot see anything. Okay. This technical glitch. All right. Guys, I'll just try to rejoin back multiple times and the system is hang. Okay. Till the time we have our team here, I'm not ending the session. I'm just rejoining. Okay. Every one of you. All right, guys, we are back. Okay, let's continue the discussion from where we had stopped. It was a technical glitch. I hope my screen is visible to every one of you. Yes, all of you are there with me. Yes, no, maybe. Great. So this is the method. Okay, and I would like to accept tourist, and for which I would like to go here and say service dot update the information I would like to pass the tourist, and it will give me string type of message whether updated or not. I would like to accept that string type of status. Okay, and then of course the response which we are going to give is a string type of response which I would like to add here, which is the response body actually, and I'll say okay, no problem. Else I would like to go back here and a string type of only. I will not give any response directly. I'll say e dot get message. If I say get message, it will give me why it will give me. All of you know very well, and it is not some internal error. It is bad request. They are updating a wrong information. It is a bad request. And since both of that response entities of string type, I need not to use wildcard here. I can directly use string only. I would like to save this. All of you. Now this will update the entire maximum information. But right now I don't want to update multiple information. I want to update only minimal. Only minimal means I would like to take this, repeat once again. It should be binded to what type of mapping, my dear friends? If it is minimal information updation, patch, I would like to go with patch mapping. I will say here update the tourist info or whatever is the endpoint you want, you can give, or maybe we'll say update the minimal information. I'll say update the tourist budget, tourist budget, and here itself I would like to accept the information in the path parameter. I will say based on the tourist ID, I would like to accept the new budget. Based on the tourist ID, I would like to accept the new budget. So of course, I need not to use here request body or something. I would like to say here path variable, and I have to pass the ID here, the name of the field. I will say here integer type of ID. The second parameter, again, I would like to go with path variable, the budget which I would like to accept. I will say here double type of budget. All of you there? Yes, no, maybe. I would like to go back here and say budget. All right. I have not written any method there. We will see what to write. Okay. We have not yet discussed what to be written there. It's our responsibility. I would like to go ahead write it. Let me go back here in our service, and I would like to go and write a method which can update a minimal information. I'll go here, take once again string update the tourist budget. I'll say budget is the method name. Based on the ID, I will accept the budget. Like for whom I have to update the budget. That's the meaning of it. Yep. I'll say here integer type of ID. I will say here double type of budget. I would like to save this. Go back to my service. I would like to write this method. Let me just go back, add the unimplemented methods, and very simple and straightforward. How will I know to update whether it is updated or not? Here also some kind of things you have to play around. I'll say here repository dot find by ID. I will pass the ID which I am receiving. I will receive the optional. Let me collect this in the optional object. Within the optional, data is there or not, I will check. If in case optional dot is present. Optional dot is present. That means whatever I'm going to pass, the data is there or not. If it is there, kindly see every one of you present in the class. I would like to fetch that optional dot get. I will get the tourist object. Whatever tourist object I'm getting right now, is it something I'm collecting from the end user or it is coming from the database, my dear friends? Is it from the end user or database? From the database. I would like to take this tourist dot set budget. I will set the budget. Whatever I'm receiving from the end user, that budget I would like to pass here. Fine now. After this, I will say repository dot save. Right now, again, I'm saving back this tourist object, but by making changes in the budget. Okay. And after which, same old story. I would like to just take this and add it. I would like to just go back here and add this information. Saved it. I'll go back here and invoke this method. I will say here service dot update tourist budget. I would like to pass the budget. I would like to pass the ID. It will give me string type of message which I would like to collect here. Equals to this. So entire method. Anyone has any request here, dear friends? All of you? Yes, no, maybe. Everyone? All good? I would like to go back and deploy my application. I will say right click, run as Java Spring Boot application. I'm deploying my application here. And I have to open the Postman tool. Let me open it. Application is deployed successfully. I'm opening the Postman tool. It is open. All right. I would like to go back here and first of all get all the tourists. My dear friends, I'm getting the tourist. I want to update tourist number 3. I want to update this. I would like to take this. I would like to take this. I'll create a new one. Before I create a new one, I would like to go back here and add this. Okay. And before I add this, it should be binded to what, my dear friends? I'll request a put request. Okay. And what is the endpoint there? I would like to go back here. I would like to go back here. And let me just go back. Yes. Update tourist. I'll go back here to my Postman tool. Add this update tourist. And I would like to collect the data from here. Just to save the time. Put guys. I'll go to the body. Raw JSON format body I want to pass. And I want to update it. Let me go back here and get this data. Okay. I would like to go back and add this. For ID number 3, I want to make some update. For example, I will say here Manikanta. Maybe I'll say here Hyderabad for an instance. Diamond and maybe the package also I would like to change it. Okay. Maybe I'll say here Platinum. I would like to just make a request, my dear friends. I will hit the endpoint. Tourist information is updated successfully. I'll go back and fetch and check. It is really the case. You can see it is updated. Full information is updated. Right now, I want to go and update the partial information. I would like to go back here, right click, add this here. It should be binded to what I have told. Path is what I have made this. I'll go back and get my endpoint of my API. This is the endpoint of the API. I would like to take this, go back to the Postman tool, and the endpoint is this. Update tourist budget. I have to pass the ID first. For ID number 2, I want to update the budget. For ID number 2, the budget is 454554. Okay. I'll maybe make some changes here. I'll say here 6565.5. Some making the changes. I'll hit this endpoint for ID number 2 tourist is information is updated, it seems. I'll go and check here. You can see it is updated. For ID number 2, it is updated successfully. All of you, yes. Any issues here, guys? Any issues to anyone? All good? Very easy so far. Coming to the delete we have already seen. I had told you, right, I will bind this to different HTTP methods and write the queries. We have written this. Now, one more thing about the delete we have seen earlier also. It is same old story, but I would like to just read. Tell me, guys, all the delete methods, whether it is from the JPA family or whether it is from the CRUD family, all the delete methods, do we have any return type? Do we have any return type? No, we don't have. We have to write the logic there, correct? Tourist info by ID. There are multiple delete methods. We have explored most of the delete methods. We have seen the difference between delete method in the JPA and delete method in the CRUD. Also, we have seen about the custom query in terms of deleting the data. I would like to go back here and say integer type of ID. Okay. I would like to go back and write down this. You can see, guys, because of the dev tools, automatic redeployment is happening. Okay. I'll go back here. Guys, have you all completed the JUnit? Everyone? Yes, no, maybe. Please do complete that, guys. It is needed before the next week of classes. I want to show you unit testing for APIs and Mockito, mocking and all. For this, JUnit is prerequisites. If you have time this weekend, can you try to complete? I have shared you my Udemy courses link, every one of you. Yes. So try to complete. Suppose if you have not got my Udemy course, in your course dashboard also, my JUnit videos are there. You watch that at least. Okay. I will say a repository dot find again by ID. Guys, why find by ID? All of you, I hope you know. This is the business logic which I have developed earlier also, because we will not be knowing whether the data is deleted or not. Delete method, the return type is void, right? So I have to first check whatever record we are deleting, it is there or not in our database first of all. If it is present, then I will say repository dot delete all by ID. I'll say here maybe delete by ID. I'll pass the ID, and I would like to return the message here. Message is very simple. I'll say here tourist record deleted with ID. I'll say here ID. If not, I would like to just say here no tourist found with given ID to delete. All right. I would like to save this. Go back to my controller, my REST controller. I would like to go back here and write down. If not, instead of me sending the string message here, my dear friends, can I just send the other way, like the way we have done here, tourist not found, exception, so that it will be helpful for us in the exception handling part. Okay. I would like to go back here, else throw this exception. Okay. For the deletion, I will say here for deletion. I would like to save this, go back to my APIs, and okay, I would like to go back here. I will write once again, and I will bind this to what type of mapping, guys? Delete mapping, and I would like to say here delete mapping. Okay, import it. I will say here delete tourist is the endpoint. I will say delete tourist is the endpoint based on the ID, dear friends. I need not to accept this right now. I'll come back here, and of course I may have to invoke the method service dot delete the tourist information, which I would like to. I think rest of all will remain same. Okay. Method name, I would like to just give it as delete. Fine. I'll go back to my Postman tool. Automatically application is redeployed because of the dev tools. I'll go back here. New request. All right. Okay. Let me close this. Oh my goodness. Huh. It is not properly copied. That's the reason. The URL I was just trying to copy. And what is the endpoint, dear friends? This time, let me go back here. The endpoint is delete tourist. I'll go back and maybe I would like to add this. Delete tourist /2. I would like to go back here and hit this. Oops. Method did not allow because it is get request. I have to make it to delete. I'll go back. Yes, it is deleted, it seems. I'll cross check. I will hit this. You can see only 2 records are there right now, 1 and 3. I'll go back here and I would like to try to delete something of 4 which is not there. You can see guys, tourist with a given info not found for deletion. Right? Everyone in the class, yes, no, maybe. All of you. Correct. Right now, what has happened is, please see very carefully, every one of you, that in the controller only, are we not trying to add, try and catch? See, in our application, first question to everyone, are we handling the exception? Yes or no? Are we handling the exception? Is the question. We are handling, right? No problem there. But is it a right way to handle if that is a question? Is it a right way to handle? The answer is no. Handling a exception comes under the secondary part, secondary logic of your application, not the main logic. Okay. Main purpose of the application means it's a business logic where end user will see whether if he is using the application, is it fulfilling his needs or not. See, whenever we use any of the application, are we bothering guys whether they have handled the exceptions in or not, whether they have handled in controller or business logic or separately they have handled the exceptions, or whether they have handled or not, only how they have written the application, are we bothered? As an end user of any application, what is our first goal or expectation from the exception guys, from the application guys? What is our first part? That application should work, everyone. Yes, no, maybe. However it is, the application should. So right now the architecture which we are following is, our client of our application is Postman tool right now. Going forward, it could be some other client also. Okay. Right now, whatever APIs we are developing, the client for our API is Postman tool. Postman tool is our client. Our REST client, whatever APIs we're developing. Okay. We are making a request to our application, our backend application, all the requests are HTTP request. And it is accepting the response, which is of what type? HTTP response. Behind the scene, this is our backend application, which we have developed. In the entire MVC web module, guys, what comes into picture first? front controller, which is dispatcher servlet. Based on the request, it will make call to handler mapper. Handler mapper. Handler mapper will identify the controller methods. It will give back the information. Based on the information, it is going to a controller. It is not a normal controller. It is REST controller. That means it is a REST API. It has a capability of receiving JSON data or XML data. And here we have a methods binded with some endpoints. We do have some endpoints with controller methods, right? So it will reach out to this. It is receiving the request, and based on the request, it is processing the request. It is making call to the business logic of our application. Service layer, business logic. And then it is making use of DAO layer to store in the database to update. At the end of the day, our application is getting connected to the database, DBMS. And here, all of you see very carefully. I'm giving back the response back. From this, I'm giving back the response back to my dispatcher servlet. Dispatcher servlet internally makes use of Jackson API, convert whatever Java object is there to the JSON, and that JSON data will be given back to the client. Initially, whatever JSON data is there, internally it makes use of HTTP message generators or HTTP message converters, and Jackson API, it will convert the JSON to the Java object. And that response we are giving back here. Now guys, if we give proper input to our service layer is giving the proper response. If you pass a wrong ID, service layer is giving the exception. And here only in our controller itself, we are writing try catch and handling the exception. That is not the good programming practice. Handling the exception comes under the secondary logic of the application, not the main logic of the application. The main logic is the actual purpose of the application, the main business logic. Handling, giving the security to the application, handling exception, all of them comes under the secondary logic. Cross-cutting concerns, separation of concerns. The concept of AOP comes into picture. Moving forward in the next week, I will have a separate discussion of AOP. Right now, I would like to use the AOP, even though I have not covered, every one of you will understand. It is like a secondary logic. Fine. Now, I am writing the exception here itself. Try and catch. I am handling it. It is not a good programming practice. The whole purpose of your controller method is to receive the HTTP request, process and give a proper response back, right? If there is any exception which is generated by the business logic, that exception should not come here. No exception should come. I should write the logic in a way that if this business methods generating a proper response, that proper response should go back to the controller. By chance, based on the request, if it is generating an exception, that exception should not reach to the controller. For which I will write a separate class, separate logic. A logic which is annotated with REST controller advice. What is advice? Again, I will talk separately. All these AOP terms. But it is a message that if some exception has to go to the controller, don't send there. I am the one. I am the representative of the controller. I am the representative of my APIs. If I am invoking some of the methods to process the request, if it is generating a proper response, give it back to me. If it is not generating the proper response, then it is the REST controller advice where automatically the request will be redirected. So do we need to write some extra code in my business logic, or do we need to write some extra code in my controller which indicates that if business logic is generating an exception, that exception should not come to me. That exception should go to this class. Do we need to write some extra logic for this? No, nothing you have to write. Automatically it will be taken care. So by chance from your controller, if you are processing the request, while processing, if you are making call to a business logic, if it is generating an exception, automatically exception will be handled by a class which is annotated with REST controller advice. The exception matter will not come here. And for which in your controller you need not write some extra code. For which in your service layer you need not write some extra code that if it is a proper response, go back to the actual controller. If it is an improper exception, then go back to the other classes. No extra efforts. Automatically it will be taken care. Are you getting? Within this class, I will handle the exception with the annotation called as exception handler. How will write the code? Now, guys, if you are making a request, if it is a valid request, then proper response coming back to dispatcher servlet from the REST controller only, from your APIs only. Suppose if it is a wrong ID, then REST controller will not give the response. It is coming from this particular class which is annotated with REST controller advice. And again, that will be converted to JSON and that will be given back to the client. So in that case, globally, you are handling the exception. Neither you are writing try catch in the service layer, nor you are writing in the REST controller. You are writing a try and catch exception handling in the separate class. Separately, you are handling the exception, separation of concerns, actual implementation of the AOP. AOP I will discuss. The main purpose of AOP is to separate the main logic with the secondary logic. Secondary logic and the main logic should not be there in one place. It has to separate. For that purpose, we use the concept of AOP. And at the runtime, automatically, whatever is there, this and this will be integrated. So you need not to take care of this. Fine. So do I need to write some extra logic in my service layer, guys, that if I am generating an exception, it has to go to this class? Do we need to write some extra logic there? Do we need to write, my dear friends? Not required. Do I need to write something in my controller that if it is a proper response, come back to me? If it is not, if it is an exception, go back here. Do we need to write something extra? No, nothing we have to write. Are you understanding it? Globally, for the whole application, I'm handling the exception here. I'll go back. And guys, I would like to close all of this. Let me close everything of this. Okay. I would like to close this and rewrite this. Of course, I have to stop my application. I have stopped successfully. I would like to rewrite this and I'll give the name as global exception handling. I'll say here global exception handling is the name of the application. I would like to say copy. The application is regenerating, guys, because I know I could have developed a new application, but again, the remaining part is same, right? Why to just simply write everything from the scratch? Aspect oriented programming. It is used to separate the main logic with the secondary logic, and separately in detail about the AOP I will discuss in the next week classes. Right now I'm directly implementing and I'm pretty sure you'll understand that even though we have not discussed it. Okay. I would like to go back here, guys. And of course, here there is no difference. Here there is no difference. No difference of logic here. I'll go back. I'll go to my APIs. I will not even write try catch here. It is not recommended. I will not write. The remaining catch part is there. No, that entire part I will not write. So if I'm invoking a method, if it is giving a proper response, I will accept and I'll give back. So I need not write wildcard here because it is only one type of response. So I would like to write the same. I will not even write this try. I will not even write this catch block. Handling the exception and all that headache should not be part of your controllers. Controller, receive the request, process, give back the response. All that extracurricular activities, we should not be writing it. I will not be writing here. I would like to go back here. I will not be writing anything, try, catch, nothing I have to write here. I would like to go back. I will say here and I would like to go back here. No try, catch, nothing here. Only receiving the request, giving the response. Receiving the request, giving the response. Now I'll go back here, guys. We have exception, right? I'll go back here. I will create a new package here, New package, name of the package, I'll give it as advice. That is secondary logic. That's the meaning of it. Okay. I would like to go here. Within this, I will create a class. Name of the class, whatever you want, you can give. I'll give it as tourist controller advice. That means it is a secondary logic. Cross cutting concerns are there. Secondary logic, supporting logic to the main. Is it not handling the exception comes under the supporting logic to the main logic? Every one of you. Is it not comes under the category of main logic, guys? I will go back here and I will say here rest controller advice. If you use this annotation, automatically, if from your APIs, if you are making call to any of the methods, if it is generating the exception, this guy will come in between. Hey, look, it is exception. You should not disturb my boss. It is me who will handle this. If it is a proper some message you want to give it to him. If there is some problems, concerns, you talk to me. I'm the one. All right. So it is very VIP person. It can take only good things. If something is problem, if there is any problem in the entire process, I'm the one who will take care of it. Fine now, all of you. See here. Did I write anything here, guys? Did I write anything extra here to say that if this method is generating an exception, don't come to me, go to a separate class? Anywhere did I redirect it here manually? Did I redirect it here? Did I redirect it here, guys? If it is a proper response, go back to a proper. If not, go back to something else. Any redirection happened here? No. I hope you are able to understand. Now I will write a method. I'll say here public response entity. What type of message you want to give as an exception? I'll say here handling. I'll say here tourist exception. And I would like to accept here tourist not found exception type E. Or maybe I'll say here tourist not found. T not found. Tourist not found exception. And I'll go back and import this response entity, guys. Response entity. I have to pass here. What is the type? So I'll do one thing here. I will create a separate class. I want to give a proper message to my client. I don't want to just give one string message if it is an exception. I want to say a proper message, a proper JSON format message to my class. JSON format message means, do I need to create a JSON object manually? No. I will create a Java object. Automatically that will be converted to JSON format and given back to the client. So if it is a bad request, earlier I used to give a simple message, tourist not found or whatever. Right now, I want to give a proper JSON format response to the client if it is an exception, for which I'll go and create a separate class. Creating a class, it's not a part of global exception handling. It is a good practice that give a proper response if it is an exception. I want to give a proper JSON format response to my client if it is a bad request. All of you are there with me right now? Name of this, I'll give it as error details. It will have information of what went wrong. In the form of JSON, detailed information I want to give in the JSON format structure that what went wrong. Everyone, yes, no, maybe? All of you, name of the class, I've given it as error, spelling mistake, error. I'll go and refactor this. Refactoring is very important skills. Most of the corporate trainings ask us to train refactoring. I'll go back here. And simple, guys, whatever information you want to give, I'll say here private, maybe string type of status code. It's good practice. I'll say here private string type of what message you want to give. Okay. And maybe I want to give when this occurred. What is the time? It's up to you. What and all information you want to give. I will say here date, time. Okay. And I would like to go back here. Right click. Go to the source constructors using the fields, using setters and getters. Right click, I'll say generate setters and getters. I would like to just save this. Okay. Go back here, my dear friends. And I would like to say what is the type of response. I would like to just say here the response type will be error details. Error details, which I have going to create. Okay. Every one of you. Now, guys, first I would like to create the instance of error details. I'll say here error details. And I would like to specify. First, I have to specify for, maybe I'll say here something. Uh, Whatever error status code, maybe I'll say here 404 not found. Whatever message you want to give to your client. Okay. Second part is the message, right? I would like to go back here. The message is the second parameter, and the third is local light. Message, I'll take here tourist not found dot get message. Whatever it will give me, I would like to print it. And the third is, I will say here local date time dot now. I would like to add it. And then I will create the response entity here. I'll say here return. Of course, I would like to just go and create error message. I would like to add this. I'll say return new response entity. I'll say new response entity. And what is the response, guys? Error details is a type of the response. And the two things I have to give. One is the body, one is the status code. Status code, I'll give it as HTTP status dot bad request. And the body, I would like to give it as this error details as the body. This is the error, I'll give it as a body. Now, guys, writing this is something extra as a good practice, I'm telling. If not, you can just give one message here. Tourist not found dot get message. Whatever message my end user is adding here, right, in this exception class, you can just fetch this message here by invoking the get message method, and you can just pass it here. That can be done. I'm just making it more clear. That's it. And this method must and should annotated with one annotation called as exception. I will say here exception handler, and within this I have to specify what is the type of exception. I'll say here tourist not found exception dot class. I would like to import this. Finish. Now in the entire application, whether it is in the service layer, whether it is in the controller, in the entire throughout the application, by chance if there is any tourist not found exception, automatically it is the one who will handle it. Now what is the guarantee that there will be only this type of exception? It could be something else. What to do for that? I will make it generic exception type. It can handle any type of exception. I will say handle the exception. That's it. And here I will say handle this exception. Maybe I'll say E. And I would like to say here E dot get message, or whatever extra message you want to give, you can give it. And maybe here some error. Maybe I'll say here internal error. Internal server error. If apart from the bad request, so I would like to just go back here dot internal server error. I would like to just save this. Now in the entire application, if there is an exception, automatically the matter will come and sit here. If that is really the case, if you want, you can print and check here. Now guys, I would like to go and deploy my application. Right click, run as Java Spring Boot application. I'll go back to my Postman tool. I will add a new record. Okay. I'll go to the body. I will add a new record. If I just hit this enter key, a record is added with the ID number 52. I would like to get all the records. You can see we have got 3 records here. I'll go for the update, and update is fine. I'll go back here and maybe enter the ID which is not there. I'll say enter the ID number 4 which is not there, right? I'll hit this enter key. Guys, are you not getting proper JSON format right now? Tourist with the given info not found for the updation. When this exception came, error details. If I'm getting this message, that means right now this is coming from the actual controller or advice. Is it coming from the controller or advice, guys? Actual controller or advice? So the concept of handling the exception globally, is it working in my application? Yes, no, maybe. It is working. Fine. All of you. This is what you need to understand, and it is very, very important. Now, as an end user of the application, without handling the exception globally or directly handling the exception in the controller, have you seen any output difference, guys? If I get, see here, I'm getting all the records. Previous application, this application, as a user of the application, have you felt any difference? Internal error, I don't have such exception only, no. If it is exception other than tourist not found, it will be invoked. All right, guys. That is generic understanding, guys. Yeah. Now, guys, I'll go back to the diagram here. If you are making, if I'm receiving a request here, based on the request, I'm invoking the service layer. If it is a valid request, it is giving back response here only. If you pass the ID which is not there, our service layer, if I have to go back to the, application, our service layer is generating one exception. If it is generating an exception, usually whenever you throw the exception, this will go to the caller of this method. Yes or no? All of you? Especially the one who had asked me this, which is, who's that? Pramod. Usually, if I'm throwing the exception as per the codes of our knowledge, it will go to whoever is invoking this. Now, this method is getting invoked inside this API, correct? Here is where I'm invoking the method. The exception should come to me. But is it coming to me, guys? Is it coming to me? No. In between, automatically the exception object is getting redirected to the class which is annotated with REST controller advice. So that means I have implemented the concept of AOP, aspect oriented programming. What is aspect oriented programming? It supports separation of the concern. It separates actual logic with the business logic. That means it promotes it will give a mechanism to have a supporting logic to your main logic. It separates the secondary logic and the business logic. Now, automatically, a class which is annotated with REST controller advice, by chance, if this service layer is generating the exception, it will not go to this particular actual controller. If this method is giving a proper response, I will take it. If it is not giving the proper response, if it is generating an exception, this assistant, PA of your controller will come into picture. Hey, look, if it is a good news, give it to the boss. If it is a bad news, I am the one who will handle. All the exceptions, problems, I am the one who is going to handle it. You talk to me. I will take that responsibility. So it will go and accept that exception automatically. Did I write any special logic, guys, here that if this method is generating exception, you should go and call the other class? Any reference I have given here? Anywhere I have given any reference of a class? Tourist controller advice? Did I give any response? No reference here, guys. If it is a proper response, go back to the invoker of this method. If it is an exception, go back to this class. Any internal reference I have given here? No. All of this is happening internally. Automatically, a class which is annotated with REST controller advice will take care of it. If you just annotate REST controller advice, that means if any problem, if any exception which has to receive by the API, it will automatically redirect to a class which is annotated with REST controller advice. And based on the exception handler, that particular method will be invoked. Example, guys, I have two handlers here and I will not write tourist not found exception. Then it will be a problem. Suppose I will not write this and my API is generating one generic type of exception. Then it is a problem. Why it is a problem? Because we don't have a handler which can handle any type of exception. We have only one handler here, which is tourist not found. Apart from this, if service layer is generating exception which is other than this, other than tourist not found, in that case, it will be a problem. Yes, no, maybe. Every one of you. Separately, we will understand the aspect-oriented programming, guys. I will explain next week or next to next week. We will have a detailed discussion on this. But how to actually handle the exceptions in a Spring Boot application? Have you all understood, guys? Should we write try catch in the business logic? All of you, please do response. Should we handle the exception in our controllers? We should not handle. We should throw with a proper exception name. Yes. And suppose Pramod, here if you give a wrong exception name, if it is throwing different exception, then this is not the responsible one to handle that exception. It will be a abrupt termination of the whole application. Okay. Writing this exception handler annotation is very, very important. Fine. Now, as a Spring Boot developer, everyone knows how to handle the exception globally, guys. Yes, no, maybe. It is must and you should be knowing it. Great. What happens if you write a try catch? You should not be writing it. Try it. You should not be writing it. Because here, from there, we are not invoking methods, Suresh. Are we invoking methods from a class REST controller advice? No, right? So we have to handle it in a specific way. Sometimes some people write, but usually we should not be writing it. Controller is there only to process the request, give a proper response. If it is a proper response from the controller, if it is improper, controller is like, no, I'm the boss. I deal only with good things. Bad things, something else will take care. I have a PS. All right. So this is very, very important, guys. They will ask the questions on the REST controller advice, which annotation to use to handle exceptions globally. These things they may ask in the interviews, and it is very, very crucial. Fine. Now we need to understand about a few more important part, guys. Right now, whatever we have developed is, we have developed the application which is our API. Someone else will use our API. Right now, we have to understand if someone else has developed the API, how can we use it? Right now, we have developed an API. Any other application can make a call and they can take service from us. They can pass JSON data, they can receive JSON data, and they can develop the application. Yes, no? But right now, I have to see if someone else has developed the API. From my Spring Boot application, how can I connect to others and seek services? How can I get integrated with PayPal? How can I integrate WhatsApp? How can I integrate some other application to my application? For which two things comes into picture. REST template comes into picture, and for which the web client comes into picture. Okay, we will see this. Actuator we will see, Hetios we will see, and we will try to integrate our Spring Boot application with the React or Angular. Okay, let's integrate with React or Angular, because React is a JavaScript library. That means whatever application is there, is it coded in Java, guys? React application? No. Again, there also it is distributed, guys. JSON data, it will pass. How to integrate? The concept of course will be implemented in your free time day after tomorrow. If you have time, just try to understand about this one term, cross origins. What it is, how it will work, please just work. It is very easy, guys. With just one annotation, the problem, you are successfully able to integrate your React with the Spring Boot. One annotation. But I want you to understand about this. They will ask in the interview. So please do watch if you have any time about the course. Some 20 minutes of lecture somewhere, or you just go through ChatGPT or try to understand this. Apart from this, complete the unit testing, guys. JUnit 5 from a Udemy. Yeah, I'll be grateful. If not, you can watch from the Telesco dashboard itself, but do complete it. It is REST template or web client. predefined classes, we use REST template or web client. For synchronous or asynchronous request, if you want both synchronous and asynchronous request, then web client coming from the reactive programming. And if you want to go with only synchronous request, then we have a REST template. And these two are used to use some other APIs in our application. Okay, how to do that we will see. So that's the reason next week classes are very, very crucial. I will integrate with the React. I will implement REST template, web client. We'll talk about the HTOs. We'll talk about the actuators, Spring Boot profiles. All these concepts will be covered in the next week of classes. Next week, 5 days, we'll cover this. And if time permits, we will cover about the scopes also. Okay, Swagger API we have to cover. So a lot of the things will be covered in the upcoming week, which is very crucial. From the Monday to Friday's class next week will be very important. All right, I will explain that in the doubt session, Ankita. Sure, Dalip. See, in the data JPA, transactions are by default implemented, Dalip. I'll go back here. See here, Ankita. That's all for today, guys. I'll take some questions and I'll share this in the chat. Ankita, you have one doubt here. Where this is right? Huh. See, Ankita, are you there? You have to plan. You have to do and you have to write it. Huh. For the updation, we have only save method. Point number 1. Okay. Sure, Pramod. Sure. Transaction means either everything has to be there, if not, nothing. And Spring Data JPA internally uses transaction for your DAO layer part to storing something in the database or to perform any DB operations. Transactions are by default implemented. I'll talk more on this. Okay. Guys, let me explain this one by one. In between, don't ask. Once I complete this, and then we can discuss ahead. Okay, all of you. Can I start this story? Ankita. Save method is used. Now, if I have to go with the update, sometimes you may have to update major part of the record. Sometimes you may have to update minimal part. Whenever you are updating major part, then the data has to travel in the request body, not in the URL. In the request body, the data has to transfer. Then that is your method should be binded with put request, not the patch request. Put request, the data will travel in the body and you will be receiving it. Now in the business logic, what I have done is I want to check whatever data I'm receiving. First of all, is there any data with this information in our records or not? From the data, I'm fetching the ID. From this, whatever my end user is parsing, I'm fetching the ID and checking, is there any data present or not? If the data is present, then I'm updating the entire record. If it is not present, I'm telling the data is not there. In this case, one more case, I'm accepting only patch mapping. That means I'm accepting minimal information through the URL, path parameter, and that I'm passing to this method. Now ID I will take it here and I'm checking if the data is there. If the data is there, I'm updating the minimal information, which is only budget. I will fetch the entire record, set the only budget in this entire tourist object, and this entire tourist object again I will save. Save method will update the records actually if it is already there. If it is already not present in the records, then it will create a new record. Since already tourist information will be present, so it will update the existing information. So now do you have any issues here? Any confusion? Yes. Patch means very minimal. For both, it will check in the DB. Yes. Yes. Yes, Ayushi Jain. For this, I have to discuss one concept called as request body and response body. I will discuss in Monday's class. Okay. What is the importance of a response entity? Why we have to write a response entity as a return type? They may ask in the interview, what is the importance of this? I will discuss this on the Monday. Very good question, and they are very important for the interview also. Fine. Okay. I'll go back here. I'll say export to PDF. I will write here global exception. What? Key points are almost ready. Okay. If I have to show you how much ready it is, I would like to go back, go back, go back, go back. Are you able to see this, Ganesh? Half of this, see, till this much only I have created. Advanced are default listable. I will give you, okay? Because I'm recreating old notes I have lost. I'm recreating it. It will take some time. I will give you next week. I have developed already. Half of the work is over. Okay. I'll go back here. The last part which I have created in the last class. I think both the applications I have to share with you guys. Guys, do kindly practice these things. If you don't practice now, it is completely out of the box. Few things you can understand only by writing the code. And I want you to write the code as much as possible. Lot of the concept to be discussed yet. And I can discuss for longer time. We have time constraint also, right? So I'll discuss so many concepts, but you have to practice more. If not, all this concept will be of no use. If you are understanding and if you are not practicing, guys, you are in very bad state. If you are understanding and practicing, only then you are doing something. If you're understanding and not practicing, let me tell you very clearly, uh, it is of no use. Straightforward, I'm telling you. Then again, after whatever live classes you're attending, no, you have to again watch the recorded videos. So what's the point of watching the recorded videos again? So Monday's class, I will start the discussion with the talk of why response entity followed by application.properties versus application.yaml file. What is the use of this? What is the different formats? I will talk about the concept of actuators. Okay. Hmm. Anything else to be discussed, guys? Please let me know. Transaction management. Some people I want them to discuss actuators, HTOs, synchronous, asynchronous communication. Someone want me to discuss, and what else you want? Oh yeah, very good, Vaibhav. At least one or two applications using the Gradle we have to develop so that you are good with both the build tools. Spring batch. Chavan wants Spring batch processing. How to process bulk data. Example, suppose I have an Excel sheet, and in that Excel sheet, I have 10,000 records. And I want to take that 10,000 records in my Spring Boot application and store in my database within a fraction of seconds. How I'm going to do that and how much time it is taking, I have to check. I want to check how much time my application is taking and how to process. For this, we have one concept called a Spring batch. So we shall see about batch processing also. Good. Though Spring batch, I will do only with one condition. If you focus on the predefined classes and methods names, I will not do it. Goodbye. I will not promise also. I will not do the topic only. If you focus on the process, not on the names of predefined classes, I will do it. Because in the Spring Batch project, we have many predefined classes whose names are not friendly. By looking at the names, if you are getting confused and scared, I am not the responsible person. I will not do it. If you want to know the process which it is following, how to do it, then I'll be the responsible person. Name of the methods are not. Example, the annotation is put mapping here, patch mapping, very friendly names. What if in this place some tougher names are there? So you should focus on that time. What is the use of this? How to do it? The process and steps involved. You should not focus on the names of the classes. All right, Chavan, especially. The disclaimers are very important here. Some concepts, it'll be a problem. I will connect the Redis server and Spring Boot. Maybe I'll perform some CRUD operations. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you again. This is just fundamentals of APIs. We'll have to understand many more things in the next week. I'll meet you Monday, early morning, 7 a.m. and continue the discussion. Okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you, every one of you. Let's meet on Monday, 7 a.m. and continue the discussion on RESTful services. Thank you, every one of you.